Chapter 4: The dumbfounded Director Liao. Listen to this roar. Director Liao suddenly felt excited. Then, he turned around quickly, looking at Manager Song and Li Moyu, who trotted down from upstairs. Suddenly, a flattering smile appeared on his face. Said, "Oh, Manager Song, why did you come down? Could it be that Mr. Lin is arriving soon?" "Manager Song, don't worry, I'll kick out this obstructive boy right now." After speaking, Director Liao immediately looked at Lin Chen, said loudly, "Did you hear that? We have a VIP coming soon. Are you going to get out by yourself now, or am I going to call the security guards and throw you out?" The moment the words fell, Manager Song, who was there, was furious at this moment. Hearing this, he immediately roared, "Presumptuous! Who are you talking to?" After a roar, Manager Song hurriedly past Director Liao, came in front of Lin Chen. Under the eyes of Director Liao and the salesmen who were going to watch the show, they were stunned and shocked. Suddenly, it was a 90-degree bow. At the same time, he spoke loudly, "Mr. Lin, I'm very sorry, we are late. I'm Song Shuming, the manager of the sales department of Dongjiao No. 1, you can call me Xiao Song. Just now, the subordinates were ignorant and offended you, hope you forgive me." Boom! One stone stirs up 1,000 waves. Accompanied by the moment Manager Song's voice fell, everyone is in a sluggish state. The young man in front of me, it's actually the mysterious Mr. Lin who bought the No. 1 villa in Dongjiao No. 1? This, just kidding. Look at what Lin Chen is wearing. All the people here gradually turned weird. After all, obviously it is one, and it can cost 600 million. The super god who bought the No. 1 villa at the level of the king of the building. But, the clothes on her body are actually so cheap, Loki. It's a bit too much to make people feel. It's unbelievable. As for the saleswoman who received Lin Chen before, at this time, I was completely dumbfounded. She didn't expect that she would receive guests at will. It turned out to be the mysterious Mr. Lin in the legend. All of this is simply not too magical. As for Director Liao, at this time, the body was trembling uncontrollably because of fear. At the same time, it was a little unbelievable, and said, "Song, Manager Song, you are kidding me, right?" The moment the voice fell, Manager Song, who was there, also turned his head and took a cold look at Director Liao, said, "I told you before, don't look down on any customer who walks in. But now it seems, Director Liao, you just took my words as a deaf ear, didn't you? Alright, you will go to the personnel department later and go through the resignation procedures. From now on, you are no longer an employee of our company, get out." Manager Song waved his hand, impatience written all over his face, and this sentence fell, but it made Director Liao panic suddenly. Putong knelt down on the ground and said loudly, Manager Song, I was wrong, I was really wrong, also please give me another chance. I don't dare anymore." Hearing this, Manager Song didn't respond. He just looked at Lin Chen with a smile and said, "Mr. Lin, please come inside?" Nod. Lin Chen just stepped up and walked inside. Manager Song also followed Lin Chen closely, looking at the two people who are gradually walking away. Director Liao gradually despaired in his heart, and Li Moyu was there. Then he shook his head and said, "It's so sad, you offended someone, not Manager Song, but Mr. Lin. Who did I offend? I still haven't figured it out, TSK. Shaking his head for a while, Li Moyu also hurriedly chased after her. Manager indoors. Li Moyu made tea for the two separately. Then, he left the manager's room. Go to get Lin Chen's real estate book and house keys. As for Manager Song, I was extremely moved in my heart. The bottom of my heart is also secretly surprised. To be honest, he was originally guessing. Lin Chen is at least a middle-aged man in his 30s or 40s, but now after seeing the real person. But it turns out that Lin Chen is so young, and, the clothes on his body, it's still so low-key. This also made Manager Song a little surprised in his heart. At the same time, I also guessed Lin Chen's identity from the bottom of my heart. Could it be the son of a hidden family? With some guesswork, Manager Song said with a smile, "Mr. Lin, you are really young and promising, and I am not afraid to tell Mr. Lin you. Our East Suburb No. 1 set of 600 million building kings has been put on the market for so many years, but no one is willing to buy it. The reason is that the price is too expensive, and because of this, it has become a heart disease for our chairman. Now, Mr. Lin, you have bought this luxury house, which can be regarded as a solution to our chairman's heart disease. Our chairman said that when he comes back from other places, he will definitely pay a visit." And listen to these words. Lin Chen was also a little surprised in his heart. He didn't expect it. "I am on the Trillion Subsidy app. The villa in Dongjiao No. 1 that I bought was actually a set of real estate worth 600 million yuan. I made a lot of money with this wave." After that, Lin Chen just smiled lightly. He waved his hand and said, "It doesn't need to be so troublesome. I didn't spend much to buy this villa." What Lin Chen said is true. After all, buy this villa yourself. Indeed, it only cost a dime. However, these words fell into Manager Song's ears, but it made Manager Song feel a little bit surprised at this moment. After all, in his opinion, Lin Chen said that 600 million is not too much money. And at this moment, Manager Song became more and more sure. Lin Chen is definitely a son of a hidden family. Otherwise, how could he say so calmly that 600 million is not too much money? But also at this time, the door of the manager's room was knocked again. Subsequent, Li Moyu just walked in, holding a file bag in his hand, and behind her, also followed a young man, holding a huge suat-jade safety buckle in his arms. Watching this scene, Lin Chen was also a little puzzled and stunned. "This is," Manager Song said with a smile at this time, "this is what our chairman specially told me. because Mr. Lin, you helped him get rid of his heart problems, therefore, let us prepare it specially. I hope Mr. Lin can accept such a safety buckle. Hearing this, Lin Chen looked at the suet jade. This suet jade is very warm and moist, and on the top of the safety buckle, there is still a bit of maroon. It looks like a perfect piece of jade in the rough. Lin Chen nodded and said, you guys have a heart. Then, after a series of processes, the real estate is also handed over.